We're back. Episode 2 of Mini Chats with Ludwig. Well, we're going to continue on with our chat regarding the method book. But today's talk is going to be about figuring out subject matter. So, one of the things that you might want to consider as you're writing your own method book or creating exercises for a beginner student is, what are they looking for? And what I found is that people generally just want to be able to play a piece of music straight off the bat. Their main goal is to play something. It makes them feel good, it makes them feel rewarded. They can share it with their friends, their family, when the grandparents come over. It's always a nice thing to be able to say, I've had one piano lesson and now I can play this. So that's the first thing. Second thing is when you're creating the book to get to that goal, you want it to progress gradually. You don't want to pace it so quickly that it makes the student feel discouraged. So taking very small steps at a time is going to be very beneficial, not only for you with your teaching, but also for the student so that they feel a sense of achievement. The main thing that they struggle with, in fact, a lot of pianists, as pieces get more and more complex, is trying to translate what's on the score and putting it onto the piano. So it's taking the notes that they see and then actually being able to play them live. So I wanted to share with you a little bit of the book that we've written and some key ideas that you could consider as well when writing. So number one is you want to give simple instruction without focus too much on terminology. So let me go ahead and now just share my screen for a second. Let me expand my face. Take a look at this here. So the exercise is, notice how your right hand rocks side to side like a seesaw. So I'm not talking about, think about the rotational movement of the wrist. It's two at the top. Keep it very simple, rock side to side. Secondly, this movement makes the sound nice and smooth. And so I'm not jumping into legato yet. I'm talking about tone. Just try and keep the language very, very simple, and so that they'll know. As soon as they sit down to play and they rock from side to side, they're going to expect to hear a nice and smooth sound. Then from there, you can start introducing the words like legato. Even see here the notation that's used. It's all very, very simple, very straightforward. We don't talk too much about the notes or the names of the notes other than C. So these are some ideas that you'll want to keep in mind. Go down to here. Here's another example. So try to keep your fingertips in contact with the key at all times. Why? Because it'll make the sound easier to control. So you can see it's just very, very straightforward language that you can apply, and it's very functional as well. Now, the last thing to keep in mind when you're trying to solidify all this new subject matter is get them to write a piece of music as soon as they can. So here I've created a section called Jam Time, and they're just going to take 6 or 7 notes or circles and then just going to put them on this line over here, and they can either write it on the line or just above it. And this is really great because you start to learn and things solidify when you're actually doing it. It's one thing to read it, but it's a whole nother thing to write it. It's just like a language. We can talk all we want, but suddenly when we're writing our own sentences and giving ourselves time to think, something interesting happens. It starts to really internalize. And so these are my tips for today for our mini chats. Think about writing with a more simple language. Think about the pacing that you want for your book, and consider creating a little exercise that takes the subject and you can create your own improvisation or a composition based on that new material. All right, that's mini chats for now. Look forward to joining me again next week for some more talk about creating a method book. Take care, everybody.